Oh, I don't know if you guys noticed this in my email, but this year's theme for our group, Lehigh Valley for All, is Stop This Madness. Everybody say it with me. Stop this madness. Again. Stop this madness. Stop this madness. Yes, and we can do it, and it is. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. So, the other thing, a couple more little things before we actually get into the meeting. You know, yesterday was the 5th anniversary of January the 6th. What do you mean? Well, they went and had some of the Republicans went and had a celebration there. Yeah, whatever. But anyways, I think that's something we need to not forget because so much crap he's doing so much crap and so many things are happening. We need to just keep in our minds what horrible things have happened in the past that we're even forgetting about now. And he wants us to forget about this stuff. So it's up to us to keep that in our minds, okay? Now, the other thing is, you know, a 35-year-old woman and was 37, was just doing what a lot of people here have been doing and just warning people that ICE is in the neighborhood. And now she's dead. And ICE did that. Let's have a moment to think about her and all the other people that have lost their lives because of all this immigration nonsense, lost their livelihoods, lost their families, lost their freedoms, lost their dignity. Let's just take like 30 seconds to just remember that, you know, we're working hard politically to help stop this, but it's affecting so many lives on a very personal level. So. I appreciate that. Okay, now I want to know, is there anybody here who is at a meeting for the first time, a Lehigh Valley for All meeting stand up, everybody stand up. Yes, I can see you with a red shirt. Yeah, look at all these new people, that's great. Yeah, he's got Mike right there. So wait, stay standing. We are going to go around, we're going to get your name and where you're from, and we're going to give you a prize for being here. And if you need more of those buttons, we have more in the back, Laura. Okay. Sandy, we probably need a couple more buttons. Your name and where you're from.
Angela Trilly Braun from Bushkill Township.
Whoa, Bushkill Township. Go Bushkill Township. Woo!
Hi, I'm Josh. I'm from Fountain Hill.
Fountain Hill.
I'm Debbie from Fountain Hill.
Josh and Debbie, did you guys come together? Whoa! Good job.
Hi, I'm Jim from Allentown.
Jim from Allentown. Hi, Jim. So glad you're here.
Ravi from Bethlehem.
Robbie! Hey, I saw your sign up online. Thank you for coming, Robbie.
Cheryl Lutz from Allentown.
Cheryl, Allentown, we love you. There's more. There should be more in the back, I thought. Whatever, that's fine.
Sharon from around the corner on Market Street.
Sharon!
I'm Stephen from Green Street on Southside.
Wow, very good. Hi, Stephen. Welcome.
Michelle from Rose Avenue.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, I'm Catherine from West Side Bethlehem.
Hi, Catherine. So nice to have you here. Is that everybody? We're going to make sure that we get everybody a button, a Lehigh Valley for All button. And you're not going to stand up, Chris? Why? Okay, she's just here. She doesn't want to claim it. Okay, very good. Anyway, thank you all for coming. This is great. One of the things this year is, I hope everybody's New Year's resolution is to work your ass off to make sure that we have all Republican, or all Democrats, all Republicans out, all Democrats in, and flip everything this year. So it's going to take a lot of work on our part because they're going to have a lot of money. And as we saw from the Cozy Zirinsky race, money isn't everything, but it does help. So we can counteract all the money with all of our boots on the ground, hard work that we're going to do. I'm looking at everybody here. I'm thinking you guys are all going to do something to chip in and help make this happen for us this year in 2026. And we will be right beside you and right behind you, pushing you the whole way. And I'm so glad that you're going to come and join us. I did just want to say that our group endorses. And so this year's going to be no different. In a little while, I'll get to the process of endorsement. We're going to do it a little bit different this year. But everybody relies on our endorsements and our yellow sheets, especially in the primary when we're out walking doors and stuff. So it's something important. Tonight we have some of our candidates here, and I need everyone to pay close attention. It's also going to be recorded if you want to go back and listen to it later. But it's going to be an important decision that you all have to make about who you think would be best for all of these different positions that we're going to be endorsing for soon. I feel like all of our candidates are good candidates, and so it's just a matter of electability and like things like that, and who you really feel close to and who is aligned with your values, etc. Now, let's see, the next thing is, so is anybody here who won in 2025? Who won an election in 2025 for the first time? Hillary? Okay. Woo. All right. Hillary, did we already give you your approved Lehigh Valley for All candidate hat? Did you get a hat? Well, guess what? Here it comes. Here comes the hat. We endorsed Hillary for Bethlehem City Council, and she won. So yay for her, and yay for us. You're welcome. Did you want to say something else? No. Okay. Good. And then now, are there any, stand up if you're in this room and you are planning to run for office in 2026. Oh my God, I thought I saw Julie stand up. Look at all these brave souls. Look at all these brave people. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's tough. It's tough to run. And one of our jobs is to make it as easy as possible for all these people to have a good experience while they're running for their offices. I mean, if they're willing to serve the community and go and all the hard work that it takes to run a campaign, then I say we support them 100%. So thank you so much for that. I'm glad you're here. That's okay, no problem. All right, I just wanted to also mention that our Holiday Helpers program, raise your hand if you participated in the Holiday Helpers program. Oh my God, thank you so much. We did 50 families and over 250 people. And I mean, it's just an experience to do that. They were in tears. I got pictures back from people after they opened their presents and stuff on Christmas. And it's just such a great thing you guys do in this community. And it makes people feel like we're not just in it just for, to try to get people elected. We also really care about the community. And guess why they feel that way? Because it's true. Okay, so I really appreciate all you did. Clap, give yourselves a round of applause. You were awesome. Okay, we do have a suggestion box back there. If somebody has a suggestion of something they think Lehigh Valley for All should be doing, or that you don't think you're doing it right, or whatever, you can put a little suggestion in the back box. Try not to use any dirty words or, like body parts or whatever. Keep it kind of clean, unless it's really intricate. It's a really integral part of the message, then that's okay. Okay. And I would read it. And the next thing is, right hot off the presses, we have the new fridge reminders. Did everybody pick up one of these? Can you believe how organized we are? We're planned all the way up through July. Holy crap. Everybody get one of these. And we also have fridge magnets that have our name on it. So if you don't have one of those yet, you can get a fridge magnet in the back. So what that is. Petition signing events. Everybody's done it before? Okay.
Yes.
So basically, we have a lot of great candidates, and they all are going to need signatures to get on the ballot in May. And that's the primary ballot. So we need a ton of people to sign, because how many, Ryan Croswell, where are you? How many signatures do you need?
1,000. We need 3,000.
Yeah, so they always need to get more than just the minimum, because everybody's going to get some. So every candidate for the District 7 congressional seat is going to need to get 3,000 signatures. So obviously, they're not going to get that all from us. But yeah.
Kathy, can we sign only for one candidate for each office?
Yes, you can sign for one candidate for each office. So you can only sign for whichever one. You can't sign all for all 5. So that's why it's even harder to get all the signatures. And what Steve Samuelson has always taught me is that, we want all these good people on the ballot. So it's not necessarily the one you're voting for is necessary. The one you're signing for is not necessarily the one you're going to vote for in May. But I think it's only fair that everybody gets a chance to be on the ballot and it's their fair time to talk to the people about what they would like to do with that office. So to that end, if you look at these blue refrigerator reminders that we have, there are 3 dates listed, petition signing dates. And I think there's also one on the general meeting. Yeah. So petition signing starts on the 17th. Our first event is the 21st, Saturday. Our second event is Sunday, the 22nd. Both of them are here. We might do a possible satellite location one of the other days. We'll have one on Saturday, the 28th. And then at our March 4th meeting, we'll have them all laid out and the last chance for you to sign petitions. Please, please, please bring every Democrat you know to one of these petition signings. At the end of that meeting, this is for everybody who is going to have a petition in this session. You can pick up your petition sheets on the 4th. That day after the meeting, you can pick them all up. We'll sign the backs and make sure that they're wow, we're out of chairs. That's crazy. Okay, yeah. So you can. So all these people who are running for any kind of an office, you can pick up your petitions at this meeting or send someone to pick them up for you on March the 4th. Okay, petitions have to be in by the 10th, March the 10th. Okay. Cool. All right. The next thing is postcards. Now we're looking at this and we're saying, oh, the election is on May the 19th. So we've got plenty of time to get all these candidates' names out and all their information out. But people are going to start voting on April, like the end of April. So we want all of our postcards to be out by mid-April because there's thousands and thousands and thousands of doors. We, as a group, usually do close to 10,000 doors walking and dropping off literature. It never hurts to double up and also have them get a postcard. But there are a lot of places that are hard to canvass, or they're inaccessible, or they're far away, or whatever, that don't get canvassed. And then we send postcards to those areas. And if you sent postcards in the past, thank you. Let's hear it from the people who sent postcards in the past. Raise your hand if you sent postcards in the past. We still have your names, don't worry. But if you are new to our organization and you think that sending postcards out would be something you'd like to do, we give you the addresses. You handwrite the addresses. We give you the postage, and it's already printed. You don't have to do anything but the address. It's just that the address catches the attention of people when it comes to their mailbox. And they look for the Lehigh Valley for All stuff, and that's how they know who they're going to vote for. So it's very, very important. It really reaches. Have more than one candidate. So that's postcards. And yes, like I said, email us or put a little note back there that says if you would be interested in doing postcards and you're not already signed up. So let me see. There are going to be a lot because it's a big election. We got Shapiro coming in and the congressional race and everything. It's going to be a very powerhouse kind of election. There's not a ton of people running like there are in some of the more local elections, but like Shapiro's group is going to come in, and of course they're going to just they'll take over the whole state, and they'll be pushing all their way that they want to do things, and the people working for them are going to be new to the area, and they're going to be young, so take all that with a grain of salt. So I'm just gonna say over the summer they're gonna be trying to attract you to come and canvass for them, and they'll probably have their own agendas about who they want to canvass for. They might say we're only canvassing for Josh Shapiro, and we're not going to carry for like the District 7 people or whatever. Who knows what they're gonna say? You just make sure that when you're canvassing, every door you go to, you're taking literature and information about every candidate that door can vote for. Because it's such a waste of time to go to that door for Shapiro and then somebody has to go back a week later for Croswell or whatever. So you've got to make sure that you're carrying for everybody that they can vote for. And if they're not having you do that, choose a different place to canvass. We will start our canvassing in April, right after we do our endorsements. And so come with us for now, and then as they start, what they try to do is they start stealing our volunteers away, which if you really feel strongly about that, you can do that, and we can all work together. I'm hoping that all the campaigns will work together, Shapiro and all the congressional races and the House reps and everything. I'm hoping we can all work together to make it as smooth as possible and as user-friendly as possible for the canvassers. Now, and you might think to yourself, oh, I'm not going to canvass, but just think about it. It's like it's the most influential way to get people deciding how they want to vote. If somebody personal comes to their door, it really helps them decide. And people are usually pretty nice. And if they say, get off my porch, then just say, okay, thank you. But I know a lot of people are hesitant to canvass. Raise your hand if you have canvassed a lot. Oh, hardly anybody in this room is hesitant to canvass. That's great. That's really great. When we get new people, we might sign you up, pair you up with somebody who is an old pro at it until you get the hang of it. But definitely don't put that out of your mind like you're not going to do it. We also need drivers. If you're not going to canvass, the next best thing is driving canvassers. It helps them get to a lot of houses very quickly. So that's just things to consider down the road when we start doing campaign stuff. Okay. So Adam, you might want to come up here and help me explain this. Where's Adam? There he is. Adam, come on up. So we're having some issues with our endorsement process last year, and our exec board spent a couple of hours this past weekend talking about how we can streamline it and make it better. Do you want to explain what we decided with the rank? Yeah, explain what that is.
Hi guys, so one of the things we discussed and that we wanted to implement this year, particularly for the PA7 contest where there's a lot of great candidates running, instead of just voting for one candidate for our endorsement process, we have the ability to roll it out with a ranked choice voting. So you would be able to put, if you guys are familiar with ranked choice voting, cool. So the way we send it out when we do the endorsement email, before we just had like a Google form, this will be more through Constant Contact. They do have a ranked choice voting built into that. We're doing a couple tests to make sure we understand the results, all the little runoffs that it does behind the scenes, but it should work the way that most other ranked choice votings do. You get points assigned to the ranking of each candidate. That's it. Questions in that?
So that's that. I think it'll be a lot easier and a lot more clear as to how our membership endorsed. Last year was kind of sad. We had 130 members paid their dues, and we sent the voting thing to all of them. We only got 82 or 83 people actually voting. So please do your part to vote, because that helps the poll, that helps the endorsement be more accurate if everybody just takes a minute to rank who they like in the different ones. And if you feel like you don't know, you can always look up different things about, try to do some research if you haven't already. We're going to try and make sure all the candidates are in front of you a lot so that you'll have plenty of time to ask them their questions and get to know them. The other part of this is, the part that we were having problems with as well is last year, just before we put out the endorsement voting, we have like a little closed door session where people can bring up things that they know or want to say about a candidate, either good or bad. It can't be somebody's feelings. It has to be some provable thing about them or whatever. But it got into some altercations between different people, like arguing about, well, this is not right and that's not right, whatever. So this year we're going to eliminate that, and what we're going to do instead is, starting now, you guys can submit to us questions that you would like the candidates to answer, or facts about the candidates, good or bad. It has to be a fact, something good or something bad that you think about the candidate, and submit it to us. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to call each one of you candidates, so get ready for this, and I'm going to say, here's the list of questions. I'm going to record it, and they're going to listen to your answers for these questions, and then we're going to play that at the night of the meeting just before we do our endorsements, the closed door session. So everybody can hear in their own words what they have to say about this or that answer. And there's not going to be, and we're not allowing campaign managers or candidates or family members in that closed door session. It's only people who are not related to you and are not like fighting for this one person, because we want it to just be an open chance for everybody to get as many facts as possible to make the most educated choice. How does that sound? Does that sound okay? Okay. All right. Yeah, sure.
And real quick, just to clarify that just a bit, we want you guys to submit tough questions and tough topics to us. We want to make sure that you guys are informed, that the voters are informed about all the pros and cons of all the candidates. We know that's especially tough with a primary. We have a lot of great candidates running. I think all of the candidates for PA7 are great. Certainly a huge step up from Mackenzie. Be happy to have any of them there. But we want to, obviously the primaries, we want to ask tough questions too. We want to get out the pros and cons of everyone. So send them to Kathy, but instead of having an open session where we're just passing the mic around and everyone is weighing in with questions, with topics, we're filtering them through the executive committee and through Kathy personally, and we're giving the candidates a chance to respond by having a phone call with Kathy. She'll talk through the questions. But the way that she's going to be armed with the best, toughest questions, the right topics to ask about, the topics you guys want to hear about, is if the community submits them to us, to her, so we know the right things to ask. So with your help, we can make sure we're asking good, tough questions to all the candidates. They'll have a chance to respond, and that way we can give all of our membership great information to make an informed endorsement vote on.
I have one suggestion about that.
Yeah.
I think if you're submitting a question, you should research your facts before submitting the fact as a question, to be factual.
Right, and we will also look at that too. And if somebody says, well, Mark Pinsley was seen running around in his underwear at Dorney Park, we're gonna look that up and make sure whether or not it's really true. And it turns out that it was, but okay. Pat, did you want to say something? Yes, I'm going to do a couple of questions, and somebody has already submitted one question, which they can also, the candidates that are here tonight can also address if they want. But the first question that somebody already submitted is, why are you more electable than the other candidates for District 7? So that's a real good question. And one of the things I think is good is that if I'm just reading the question that you wrote, you don't have to stand up and face the person and say, I heard you run around in your underwear. Somebody else will ask that question for you. So you can be very strong. If things you want to know, you should find out, because this is going to be your congressperson. So, and we're really counting on them. We're going to be really counting on them to help us from this madness. So it's got to be somebody who's ready to do that. So all the questions you want to submit, go ahead and do it. I'm not saying we're going to ask every single question, and I'll probably get a lot of the questions multiple times, and I'll consolidate them. We will, like I said, try to vet it and make sure that you're not saying something that's totally untrue or just like your opinion or whatever. It's got to be factual stuff like, why'd you vote this way, or how would you vote on this thing, or something like that, okay? And also you can say a nice thing. You can say, I heard that so-and-so, was really instrumental in helping get rid of Moms for Liberty or whatever. That's a good thing to say. People should know that, right? Okay, that's that. Yes.
Any contested primary.
Any contested primary that we have, we're going to call and ask questions. So, just contested with another Democrat, not a Republican. Right? Did you have a question? I need we're going to do it we're going to play that tape on April the 1st, our meeting April the 1st. So I would really like to have them by mid-March. So I have a couple of weeks to compile them and make all the phone calls that we'll record and just play that for you. Okay? Yes?
In addition to playing that tape on April 1st, can you possibly post it on our site so that we could read through it?
I can't, I'm not gonna, we're gonna all put our phones away. I'm not gonna allow all those answers to be out into the atmosphere.
Oh, so all the voting has to be done here that night.
You have to hear it here, and we're not gonna be on Zoom either. But that was just like all of our closed door sessions. We didn't put it on Zoom. We didn't let people record it,
You vote via email. You don't
Oh, you're gonna vote via email, yeah. But you're not gonna hear that.
Q&A and all that.
Yeah.
You do that in a closed door session.
Now, the other thing is, if you're very desperate to hear it, I suppose we could set up another little session somewhere where some people could come on a Saturday or whatever, and I could play it again. But I'm not gonna, yes? Right. 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 And also, hopefully, most of the candidates will be here that night and they can speak to you just to remind you about themselves for a minute or two before we do the closed door session, okay? So you'll have one more chance to look them over. Oh, are you going to be in Arizona or New Mexico?
Have a good time.
Yeah.
You're not going to be here.
If you really want to hear it, you can call me up and I'll play it for you. If I know who you are. Yeah. Well, right, you can still vote because you're still going to get your email.
We'll send more detailed instructions.
Yeah, there'll be more detailed instructions as we go along. Yeah, but mainly pay your dues so that you can vote. Yeah, Julian. We get involved in primaries because the special election is all, you've got to be a PCP in that election, right? Is that what you're talking about? In a special election? I'm not sure what election you're talking about.
We probably just endorse you,
Yeah.
whoever the Democrat is.
If there's a Republican running, no, we don't. Yeah, we usually.
Yes.
We will?
Yeah,
Okay.
if there's a special election, yeah. Why wouldn't we?
Yeah, I think, are you talking about the special election for the 22nd? And when's that coming up? And that's when voting is, on February 24th? And it's the whole District 22? Oh. Would you guys, I don't know, we'll have to talk about that. Yeah, I don't know, yeah. We'll follow up with you on that, because we didn't really put that into our consideration.
Well, because there is no endorsement yet.
Right, there's no endorsement yet, so that is a
It'd have to be a special endorsement.
Yeah.
For the special election.
Right. Yeah, we will. We'll talk about it.
Why
We'll let you
wouldn't
know,
we endorse
Julian. Thank you.
Why wouldn't we?
All right, then the only other thing is, over Easter break, spring break, all these kids are home from school and they're not getting their lunches, their school lunches. So we are trying to organize a thing, I think it's in the beginning of April, that we're trying to organize a thing where we would just have a day here, which we've done before, and everybody brings like a gallon of milk and some cheese and some bread and some eggs and lunch meat and a lunchy kind of things, and we put them all in bags, and then we kind of go back to the same families, or as many of the same families as we did at the holidays, and drop off some food for them to supplement their food supply over the 5 or 6 days when the kids are off from school. So we're gonna have a sign up, yes. April 5th? No, March 28th. That's the day we're gonna do it, March 28th. I remember because it's my birthday. I'm gonna be, and then I can 21, I can drink. Yeah, hey, who's laughing at that? Yeah, so that's what we're gonna do on March the 28th. To put that in your calendars, and we will send out a list of the supplies that we need, and then you send back to me, I'll get, 5 gallons of milk, or I'll get 5 dozen eggs, or whatever you'll do, and we'll try to get as many as we can, and take it to as many families as we can. Because I think that's an important thing. And then also we are continuing to have our monthly food drives that go along with this meeting, bring food, and then we take them to either the Moravian food pantry or the South Side Hispanic Community Pantry or Second Harvest. Okay? Okay, so let's move on. Secretary, approve the minutes. Did everybody get the minutes? It's okay. Does anybody want a motion to approve the minutes? Okay, Judy Smull is gonna vote to approve the minutes, and who's gonna second it? Who? Okay, Frank Fennebone. He just likes to get his name in the minutes. Okay, now the next thing is the treasurer's report. Oh, I'm sorry. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? I didn't think so. All right, thank you. Kim, what's our damages here?
I can only give you what was at the end of the year.
Okay,
And that's,
Hold on. Can she do it on mic?
you better come up and do a mic.
Yeah, otherwise people on Zoom can't hear you.
How many people are on Zoom?
2,000. No.
2,000 people are on Zoom right now.
27. 27.
People are saying there's 2,000 people watching right now.
It's the best ever.
No, you got to turn it on. All right.
You can turn it on.
All right, so at the end of the year for our state account, we have 7,132.
Over. So they can see you. There. There you go.
There. Thank you. $7,132.54. And then for the federal, it's been the same, $797.18 cents. This year is going to be a federal election since we're electing Congress people, and so we will be able to collect money for the federal account as well if you want to do donations. Though it's you'd need to be very specific about that. Donations through the website's always to the state account, but you can contact us and let us know if you want to give money to the federal account. And what we would use that for would be to support candidates who are running for the, let's see, it would be District 7, so Ryan McKenzie's seat. His is up. Anybody else? Yeah, that's it. So just everything that has to do with District 7 House race, that would fall under the federal account. So if you want to contribute to that, let us know. Otherwise, everything will go into the state account, which is everybody else, including Shapiro. So that's how our money is being spent.
And I got to say, a lot of people paid their dues online. We've already gotten $1,000 in of dues online. So thank you. Yay. But this is a very expensive year because we've got signs and we got to print out, we got to get paper and ink, and we got to print out flyers, and we got to print out the yellow sheets, and we got to print out postcards, and we got to get postage and all that kind of stuff. So it's really an expensive year, and I appreciate all you're doing to help us. Okay. All right. So Judy is also in charge of feeding all of us, and let's say thank you to all the people who brought food tonight and pizza.
I don't know how to turn it on. Hello? Hello. I don't think it's on. There you go. All right. I'm going to pass this thing around. If you can, these are only for the 5 meetings that we have in the next 5 months. I'm asking you for your name, your phone number, or your email, and what you would be willing to bring. All right. You know that we have a lot of people who come directly from work, and so they need some sustenance when they get here. It's not just for fun. So it's good to have some solid food as well as some sweets and all that sort of stuff. Drinks are almost always just provided for, right? Yes, so it's just basically food. So if you're going to be at one of these meetings and you would be willing to bring something for that, please sign your name, put that information on, and I thank you very much in advance.
So we usually try to have something sweet, something salty, something healthy, and then some little extra thing. So that's what we usually try to do for everybody.
Judy, I'll take.
And thank you so much. All right. Then the next thing, is there somebody from, is Mark Moss here? Mark, stand up and explain what the heck's going on with your meetings now. Yeah, Mark! Go, Mark!
Okay, so we are moving to a different room in the building over at the Fowler Center on the south side. We're going to be in room 6.
Bethlehem City Dems.
Bethlehem City Democratic Committee. So we are, our official voting membership are PCPs in the city of Bethlehem, both counties, Northampton and Lehigh County. But any Democrat in Bethlehem or the surrounding communities are welcome to come to our meetings. This Monday, we actually have a 6th candidate that just got in the race for PA7, and he'll be at our meeting. I hope that some of the other candidates that are here will also be coming. We said we're at 7 o'clock in room 623 at the Fowler Center. It is going to be a hybrid meeting again, so if you're on the Bethlehem City Dems website, you will be getting a Zoom link, or actually you got the Zoom link this morning. If you didn't get the Zoom link and you want it, speak to me, give me your email address or your phone number, and I'll make sure you get it, and we'd love to have you there. And what we're going to be doing is the Bethlehem City Dems are going to, we're officially in our bylaws supposed to be having monthly meetings, but just to make it more functional, what we're trying to do is to make it a mandatory meeting for all elected PCPs to be there in the first month of each quarter. And we will be meeting in the non-first month of each quarter, month 2 and month 3, more informally, but our official business meetings with votes and things like that will be at the first meeting of each quarter, and I hope to see more of you there. Unfortunately, Ben, our chair, is in Mexico this week, but so you'll be getting me running the meeting. So sorry in advance, but yeah, so that's it.
Thank you. Okay, very good. Okay, the only thing I have to say about events is that, like I said, those petition signings, and please commit yourself to coming and signing a petition at some point and bringing as many Democratic friends of yours as you possibly can so it's worth their while to have all their petition sheets out. It's not as many as it was in the off years when there's all these local races. But we really, really, really need a lot of people to swarm these petition events. So I hope you plan to bring people. Was there anything else that the events team wanted to say? Okay. Events team says no. Okay, so again, you can like us on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, and we also have a new website, which it's the same LV4ALL.org as our old website, but it looks so different and looks so beautiful. Okay, and if we could get one other person who would like to help volunteer coordination, we're getting a lot of new members all the time, and then there's like you got to sign them up, put them on constant contact, and on the other list, you've got to send them out a welcoming letter, things like that to get everybody acclimated. So if there's one other person who thinks that sounds like something up their alley, who's raising their hand right now? Evan, you're going to do it? I'll do it for you. Wow, thank you. Put a star by her name on the sign-up sheet. It's Evan! Yay. Thank you, Evan. Okay, and then we want to start in the spring, we want to start doing a visibility brigade. Does everybody know what that is?
No.
Visibility brigade is where you get this big flyer, this big like banner, and then you hang it over an overpass somewhere. And it's like we will be signing up for different overpasses, and if we have a few teams doing it on different days, we'd really like to have that stuff start showing up. I think the first one should say "Stop This Madness." Vote on 519 and 11-4, and maybe that would be the whole message for the next 3 months. Yes, thank you. Okay. So next month, we're going to have somebody come and speak about how they do that. It's already an organized group, and all we have to do is join in. So now, real quickly, I want the guy from Fair Districts, Charles James, to just come up and give you a 1 minute or 2 minute spiel about Fair Districts and what's going on with that. So we got some updates. Yay! Let's hear it for Charles. Woo!
All right, glad to be back. And last year I came and gave a brief presentation about what we're working on. And Steve Samuelson, who's in the back, is the primary sponsor of House Bill 31, and there's also a Senate Bill 131. And we are trying to get a hearing to be held. It's never happened on legislation. This effort's been going on for well over a decade. And so we have really a big push to try to accomplish to get enough co-sponsors by the middle of the year. It pretty much needs, with a calendar that is for our legislature in Harrisburg, it's really important to get it to happen by that point. And so this legislation that's been submitted, SB 131 and HB 31, are on a sheet that I have in the back, and it has contact information for all the local legislators who have not yet supported this legislation. So please pick a sheet up on the way out, or if we're running short, take a photograph of both sides. The contact's on one side, and there's more information on the other side. So we sent out letters last night and to about half of our 4,000 subscribers, and you can go online also to become a member and a subscriber of Fair Districts PA and find out more information about that. And there's more information on that on the sheet. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, can I have Steve Samuelson come up here real quick? What?
You had 10 brand new members, but you actually have 12.
Okay, hey.
2 more.
What? Yay! Make sure the new ones get a button. Come on, Laura. Chad, Center Valley. Yay, I'm from Center Valley. And what's your name? Did you guys come together? Woo! Carpooling, I love it. Thank you so much. Welcome, welcome. Very good. Okay, so Steve is going to come up and he's going to real quickly explain like what's going on in which districts we can flip, because we have the opportunity in the House, in the State House Department to really change the dynamics in that group this year, and it's a good year for it. So go.
So I know the candidates get 5 minutes to speak sometime. You have several candidates here tonight. I'm going to speak in February about my own candidacy. I'm running for re-election here in Bethlehem and Hanover in the 135th. But we have a lot on the ballot this year. There are 14 legislative seats in the Lehigh Valley. Of course, we've been talking about PA7, and 4 of the congressional candidates are here tonight. On the ballot, we have races from Governor of Pennsylvania. Josh Shapiro is running again. Austin Davis running again for Lieutenant Governor. And we have elections in every neighborhood. Your local committee person, your precinct committee person is on the ballot. Maybe you don't have one in your neighborhood. Where I live, in my city, we have about 1/3 of the positions filled and 2/3 available. To become a precinct committee person, all you need is 10 signatures. You get your name on the ballot, and you can participate in the elections. You can help vote for county chair, and also you can be the liaison with your neighborhood. So that's a one-page petition coming up in February. So for the state legislative seats, first I want to say Lehigh Valley for All, I believe, is the main progressive group in the Lehigh Valley. I'm convinced that the reason we flipped the congressional seat in 2018 with Susan Wiles, she won by 5,000 votes. The efforts of this group, door-to-door, phone calls, activism, getting involved, I think you folks have participated and made sure that we flipped that seat in 2018. We're coming off a great year. We elected almost every office here in Pennsylvania, here in the Lehigh Valley, and across the country for Democrats. We won the county executive seats with 61% in one of our counties, 59% in the other county. Those elections were not close. People are ready to elect good Democrats. You've seen the results around the country, percentages going up by 10, 12, 15% in districts that have been very red for a long time. So I'm convinced that we all are going to work hard to flip Pennsylvania 7. We have a primary coming up on May 19th. As I said, 4 of the candidates are here. There's a couple other candidates. My hope is that on May 20th, the day after the primary, we get united, because I believe that the current representative, whatever his name is, the one who keeps voting to, and he's a one-term representative, and we're going to take that seat back. And every one of us in this room is going to work hard to make sure that happens. In Harrisburg, we have 11 state representative seats in the Lehigh Valley and 3 state Senate seats in the Lehigh Valley. All 14 seats are on the ballot this year. So I know a couple of the candidates from the 22nd district are here tonight and are going to speak to you. That's the district that Josh Siegel represented up until December. Of course, he's our new county executive in Lehigh County. So in that district, there will be 2 elections because there's a vacancy, because Josh Siegel resigned his seat with a year left in his term. There'll be an election on February 24th to fill that seat for 10 months, from March until November, for 9 months. So that election's February 24th. The parties have already selected their nominees. Julian Guridy is the nominee for the Democrats on February 24th. That's for the 9-month term. But the voters are also picking for a 2-year term. And that will be on the primary on May 19th, just like all the other House seats in the Lehigh Valley. And the voters will pick who the nominee will be for the 2-year term. So that one, I know you're going to hear from both Julian and CC tonight. And it's like all the seats in the Lehigh Valley, There could be more candidates. We have 11 seats. Last time we had candidates in all 11 of the state house seats in the Lehigh Valley. 6 of them in November were won by Democrats, 5 were won by Republicans. I've been hearing that we have candidates for at least 10 of the 11 seats so far, and for at least 2 of the 3 state Senate seats that were held by incumbent Democrats. But all of them are on the ballot. Why is it important we flipped the House in 2022, as you know, by 1 vote. So the majority had been 102 to 101. With some vacancies, we had Josh elected county executive and 3 people elected judge, 2 of each party. So we still have a 1-vote majority. So there are special elections all over the state to get back to what's probably going to be 102 to 101 again. But in November, we can build on that majority. We can get a 103rd seat, a 104th seat. You know that right here in the Lehigh Valley, in Bethlehem Township, in Lower Nazareth Township, in Tatamy, in Nazareth, we had the 137th district. We came close twice. A Republican won in November, but our Democratic candidate got 49% one time, 48%. I'm told that that's going to be the #1 seat in the state to focus energy on to try to flip a seat. Obviously, we're going to try to defend the seats that we have, but that's a real opportunity. There's a candidate out there already since July 1st. You know that Jeff Warren has been running since July 1st for a November of 2026 election. So there are seats all over the Lehigh Valley. Each of us has to stand on the ballot for another 2 years. I believe I'm having an opponent in November this time. And anybody could run. Judy Mullins could run in a primary against me. I'm just saying. 300 signatures. Oh, that's what you need. So for all of the candidates, signatures are very important to get on the ballot. For your local committee person, you need 10 for yourself. For the state house, we need 300. We usually try to get 400 or 500 or 600, but we need 300, and we could have help. Anybody who's a registered Democrat anywhere in the state of Pennsylvania can collect signatures for any one of us. So I'll need signatures. The candidates in the 22nd are going to need signatures. Every single state house member is going to need signatures. In the state Senate races, they need 500 signatures. And the incumbents are Lisa Boscola and Nick Miller, but we have a Republican out there in Western Lehigh County. We could try to get signatures and we could have candidates on the ballot in all 3 seats. They need 500 signatures. They're probably going to try to get 1,000. Our congressional candidates are looking forward to this. I know they are. They need 1,000 signatures each. Ryan already said he's trying to get what? You're setting the bar. You have to get at least what? No, I know that the Susan Wild tried to get about 3,000 signatures with the 1,000 minimum, because just so you're not challenged. Josh Shapiro needs 2,000 signatures to get on the ballot. He needs them in 10 different counties, I believe. So we could participate. We could be Northampton, Lehigh. We could help Josh Shapiro get on the ballot, and we will have those petitions there. Why is it important to keep the House and build on that majority? Well, almost every issue they can think of, like night and day, has changed since 2022, since we flipped the House. The Fairness Act, prohibiting discrimination against LGBT individuals in Pennsylvania, only passed the House after that flipped in 2022. And it passed by 2 votes. My goodness, 5 of our local folks voted, 5 of our local representatives and the other party voted against eliminating discrimination. We could flip those seats to make sure that we all believe that there should not be discrimination in Pennsylvania. Sadly, that bill passed the House, died in the Senate. The Senate has a Republican majority. If we flip 2 seats around Pennsylvania this year, we could take back the Senate, and maybe some of our bills that we pass in the House could get passed. We voted to raise the minimum wage in Pennsylvania twice. The Senate has not acted. You might notice that New Jersey is about $15 an hour, twice as high as Pennsylvania. When was the last time Pennsylvania? It was 2006 was the last vote. The last adjustment was 2009. So it's been 16 and a half years that we've had the same minimum wage in Pennsylvania. We've advanced it twice in the House. With our majority, the Senate has killed it. So we need to keep the House, flip the Senate. Reproductive rights. In 2022, one night, they brought up an amendment to restrict abortion in Pennsylvania. That was 2022. In 2025, we voted for a constitutional amendment to put reproductive rights protections in the state constitution. Depends on which parties in the majority, which bills come up for a vote. We've had gun safety votes that have come up at the House. Some have passed by one vote. Some have failed by one vote. Very, very, very close majorities. We tried to ban bump stocks in the state of Pennsylvania. Failed by one vote. We need more seats in the State House to make sure that gets passed. We need to flip the Senate to make sure that has a chance to become law. Education funding, you've read a lot about that. We actually did vote for $710 million in new funding for education. That was November 12th when our final budget passed. What was the Senate's idea? 0 for new education. That was August 11th. So it matters which party's in charge. In the end, the Senate did come around and endorse the $710 million. Governor Shapiro signed it, and so we have had the second year of addressing adequacy and equity in Pennsylvania. We've got to do that a third year, a fourth year, a fifth year. So all of these issues are on the ballot. I think we have to harness the progressive energy that's in this room. I'm excited. It's a Wednesday night in January. There's 84 people in this room, including 12 people here for the first time. My goodness. We had meetings last year with over 100. And but I want to challenge you. When I attend the No Kings rallies, there are 2,000 people right here in Bethlehem coming out to say they want to change. There are 500 people in Bethlehem Township. There's No Kings rallies in Lehigh County. We have to help folks realize that one of the ways we stop that is flipping Pennsylvania 7 and putting some checks and balances back in our country. And so one of the things we can do is make sure that others who feel that they want a change in our country, that want to change, know that one way to do that is to get involved and make sure that we're electing a Democrat in the Congress this year, re-electing Governor Shapiro, and maintaining that majority in the State House and flipping the State Senate. Lots to talk about there. And last thought is please consider running for precinct committee person. You only need 9 signatures, or you're probably going to sign your own petition, right? So you only need 9 others.
All right, thank you, Steve. And just to make sure everybody understands, how many, does anybody know how many signatures Josh Shapiro needs?
2,000.
2,000, and it can be from anywhere, or does it have to be spread out over different?
He needs 100 in several different counties. So we could be 100 from Northampton. We could be 100 from Lehigh.
Okay.
We could help him out.
He needs 100 from several different counties. And I'm just saying, everybody in this room can sign for Josh Shapiro. Everybody in this room probably who lives in the Lehigh Valley can sign for one of our congressional candidates. But then it gets trickier after that. Like, not everybody in this room can sign for Steve Samuelson. You'll have to start watching where you live and which one of the state reps you can sign for.
Only the district you live in, yes.
Only the district you live in. Everybody understands that, right? You can't just go in and put your name on everything. We've had people do that from time to time, and they had to get scratched off. And how painful is that, really? Okay. So let's get started on our other speakers. I want to make sure that we get through by like 9-ish or 8-ish, 12:30. Okay. First of all, we have Julian Guridy. He is running for the State House 22, the house that we just talked about. He was nominated for the special election against a Republican, but then, as Steve said, in a few months, he's going to be running in the general election, and there is another candidate also running there. So, in the primary. Okay, yeah. So explain it to us, Julian. This is Julian Guridy, everybody.
Thank you, Kathy. You want me to, where should I stand? Got it.
Right there's good. Right there's good.
Hi, everyone. Julian Guridy here. First of all, I've been here a couple times now, and I have to say that I love the energy here, the passion that everyone has. I've come to a lot of these organizations and over the years, and it feels good to be here. So thank you for everything you guys do. Explain the process. So yes, so last week I was nominated to be the candidate on the special election, which will happen February 24th. In order to get to that, we had to get all our PCPs, speaking of PCPs, all together in a room, interview those who were interested. Long story short, they thought I was the best person there, so I will be on the ballot on February 24th. So I would love the support. So I was born and raised in the district, in the 22nd district, which is why I would love to run and represent. My family was originally from there. At the time, it wasn't called the 22nd district, but it consists of downtown Allentown, east side, and then parts of Salisbury Township as well. Born there, educated there, elementary, middle, and high school was all there. Until I went to Penn State University, graduated from there, and then my master's later on in public administration. Instead of giving you all of my work history, I'll fast forward to my most recent job was working with State Senator Nick Miller as a constituent service representative, where I was on the front lines of resolving issues for constituents on a daily basis for 3 years. Talking to them every day, there was always an issue at the state level, and I can confidently say I was always able to provide a solution for them at the state level. If not, if there was something else, either city or county, I would point them in the right direction. I quickly realized that everything that happens here happens at the Harrisburg level. You have to go there and ensure that all the resources and money is allocated from there and have someone that's advocating for the issues here back home. But I quickly realized that I had a passion for it. I wanted to continue doing it, not just from 9 to 5 and on for the senator, but I wanted to do it on my personal time as well. So I started getting more involved. I joined Lehigh County Democratic Committee, LCDC, 3 years ago, became a PCP, and then later on became a state committee member. Wanted to get more involved, so I started going to more tabling events. I started talking to constituents, canvassing for candidates a lot, talking to constituents at their homes. And I was able to, figure out what they wanted from a candidate and let them know what the candidates could do for them as well. Fast forward, I also became a delegate for Kamala Harris as well. So I had the honor and the privilege to go to Chicago and go to the DNC. Things didn't go our way, but it seems like we're, especially you guys in the room, are fighting to make sure we get that back and bring Democrats back in the power. Let's see. Also, speaking to those constituents, there's a huge affordability problem here. That is the main thing they talk to me about, especially in housing. So that's one of my platforms as well. What I want to be working on as well is housing. After that is education. Education, I think that's a very bipartisan issue. Who does not want to ensure that our youth has an amazing foundation, whether it be going to college or going for a union job. We need to ensure that our foundation and our schools are fully funded. And I do want to give praise to our current state legislators, Samuelson, Schweier, Schlossberg, State Senator Nick Miller have done a phenomenal job to ensure that we do continue to get money allocated, millions of dollars over the last couple of years, and we have to continue that momentum, and I'll do that. And then there's always 3, so the last thing on my platform is public safety. That is one thing walking around and door knocking for the last couple of years people have talked about, specifically in Allentown and Salisbury, more Allentown, the lack of public safety that they feel. To me, I feel safe in Allentown, but there is a stigma around it, and I want to ensure that we resolve that issue and ensure that the resources that the Allentown police need and Salisbury Township gets allocated from Harrisburg if need be. So I announced my candidacy November 20th. However, I've been working at this for some time now. I have lots of endorsements, and I don't say that to brag. I say that because it's a true testament of my ability to be able to create relationships and work alongside them if I do get elected to be state representative. So when it comes to public safety, I'm endorsed by the police. In Allentown, I'm also endorsed by the firefighters. And then when it comes to educating our youth and the union, and hopefully they get to union jobs if they want, I'm also endorsed by many trades, not only here in the Lehigh Valley, but across the Commonwealth. Obviously, the state reps trust me in the area to do the job. And the Speaker of the House actually just officially announced that she's endorsing me as well, so up in Harrisburg. So with that being said, I would love to be the person you guys choose to support. I believe I will be the right candidate to do just that, and thank you.
That's you, Kevin.
Hey, we have another excellent candidate running for this same spot, the State House 22. Her name is Cece Gerlach, and here she comes. Let's hear it for Cece! Woo!
Hey everyone, so great to be here. And before I even get into my whole spiel, I just want to thank those of you who helped with some of the back end stuff when I was passing the immigration policy in Allentown. I know some of you exist in here. You may have sent emails, you may have done some organizing behind the scenes. Thank you for doing that. It passed, and it passed because it was a multifaceted approach. It wasn't just a bunch of politicians trying to pass policy. It was co-conspirators like you all helping to pass that policy. So for those of you who don't know, my name is CC Gerlach, and I currently serve on Allentown City Council. I'm running for state representative in District 22. District 22 is very much a working middle class district, very much so. And what working and middle class people deserve in this district is someone who uniquely understands the needs, the struggles, the everyday experiences that people are going through, and actually has the experience to do something about it. I spent 8 years on the school board. During that 8 years, I voted against the devastating cuts to our school system in Allentown. We're talking hundreds of teachers they wanted to lay off, and I voted against that. I was able to, myself and Joanne Jackson together, we worked to bring back 5 ESL teachers, English as a second language teachers. We also were able to bring back the music and the arts. I led that through my Arts at the Core resolution that I introduced. And we were able to save the Newcomer Academy School, which is a school. Now they have elementary and secondary. Back then it was just secondary. It's for new arrivals to the United States. And we were able, under my leadership, I believe I was vice president at the time, we were able to save the alternative graduation programs in the Allentown school districts for kids that just need a different path towards graduating. I'm now entering my 6th year on Allentown City Council, and I've got some bills and resolutions under my belt. I counted them, and there are 100 bills and resolutions that I have sponsored over my first 5 years. They range from everything from housing to immigration to criminal justice, mental health, and transparency in government. I would say the last 5 years, I have really thrown myself into not just local legislation, but also state work as well. I worked with Senator Nikhil Saval. He's outside of he's in Philadelphia to get the whole home repair legislation passed. I did that as an organizer and as a council member. What this legislation did was put critical money, funds in the hands of working and middle class homeowners, not just in the 22nd district, but all throughout Pennsylvania. I also worked with ALC, John Rowlands, and there's a bill right now on the Senate side, I believe it's 788, to limit solitary confinement, to reform solitary confinement. I also worked with Christian Hall's family up in the NEPA area. His family was, Christian Hall was fatally shot by police when he was having a mental health episode. So his family organized with folks from across the state to get legislation that would actually increase awareness of the 988 number and eventually connect it to 911. Finally, on council, I introduced and passed unanimously, mind you, with 2 very conservative folks on council, passed a resolution calling on the state to raise the minimum wage and to end state preemption so that until and if that happens, cities that want to raise the wage can actually do so. I have a very robust legislative agenda. Kathy cut me off when I need to. I have a very robust legislative agenda that is all focused on lowering the cost of living. We hear that a lot now because of the recent wins, and I think it's important that You really spell out what that means. You have to have policy behind it. You can't just have words. So what that means is passing policy to stabilize rents. Stable rents means stable communities. Stable communities means stable schools. That means banning algorithmic pricing for both groceries and for housing. That means right to counsel. That means eviction ceiling legislation, which I believe passed in the House. But we have to get it over to the Senate side. And that means closing loopholes for mega corporations and billionaires. Was that my timer? Okay, so I will say that as a state rep, my main areas will be housing for all, fully funding our schools by taxing billionaires and closing corporate loopholes, and raising the wage. I'm a fighter. You don't have to wonder where I stand. I've got the receipts. I've got the experience. I've stood up to MAGA extremism as a local legislator, and I sure as hell will stand up to it when I'm in Harrisburg. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Cece. And I just want to say, sometimes people don't think to themselves, well, I don't live in Allentown, so what does this matter to me? It all matters to you. At this point, every elected official is affecting your life, affecting the life of the area. And we also need good elected officials to work with the other good elected officials that we have, especially in the State House. So don't think to yourself, this doesn't affect me because they are in the Allentown area. No matter where you live, all of this affects all of us, okay? All right, great. So then the next thing is I have Mark Pinsley here, and he is running for District 7. Whatever, and it's Mark Pinsley.
Thank you. I'll be here all week. Thank you very much. Yeah, so my name is Mark Pinsley. I am also running for Congress. I am the controller of Lehigh County, which means I'm about the numbers. I have just been thinking, quite honestly, I have been fuming for the last few hours since I heard about the murder of this woman by ICE agents, right? And I have been trying to figure out, not just why I'm so mad, but I feel like this is loss of control. And when there's this loss of control, all I know is I want it back. Right? And we can get it back. Let me say that. And let me also say that if I am elected to Congress, I am going to hold these guys accountable. Every single ICE agent that has done anything wrong, I will hold them accountable. Thank you. And I really do think that this is about the money. I don't know how it's connected yet, but I believe it is. We've seen, we kidnap heads of state. And all of a sudden, we're now getting oil money, which we have now said it's not going to go into the U.S. Treasury, but it's going to be put in an offshore account that Trump is going to control.
Actually, one of Trump's largest donors bought one of the oil companies, Citgo. And Citgo is the only one who has three refineries in the Gulf Coast that can convert that heavy crude that comes out of Venezuela.
There you go. It's just unbelievable. I haven't been sure whether we're going to actually produce more oil or we're going to stop the oil from being produced in order to raise the price. So, one of the things, so when I was on my way over here, I saw the waste management truck, the green ones with WM on it. Well, in the last year, they have increased their cost by 6.7%. So that is twice as much as inflation. Now, the thing that bothers me the most about this is what I read in their annual report, which is they knew that some of their customers couldn't afford it, but they knew their customers had no other place to go. These are the kinds of things we're fighting. They are not unique. Healthcare is going to go into orbit. We know that electricity is going into orbit. We know that housing has already skyrocketed. So what I want to say is there are 6 million companies in the United States. There are 100 to 200 of them that have gotten so large, they are wrapped around us like a boa constrictor. And we can fight back. But what I will tell you is that it's going to get worse. And there are two main reasons. So one, over the last year, we have deregulated faster than we have deregulated any time in the past. So we've gotten rid of the rules. We're going to allow for more profit. The second thing is AI and dynamic pricing. Have you guys heard about this? So every time you swipe your phone, you like something, you've now told a computer how great you are, and they have increased the price. That is what's going to happen. Right?
It has been.
Yeah. I mean, in fact, I saw this one thing where, like, if you go and look at an obituary and then you go and try and fly to that place, the flight actually increases the cost just based on that. So, what a lot of people don't really understand is, like, really how to follow the money and, like, what the benefits of that money are when nobody's looking. And, like, that's what my job is, right? So I follow the money, I follow contracts, I follow balance sheets. And what I can tell you is accountability isn't about screaming. It's about knowing where to look, right? And that's what I do, is I know where to look. So basically, in Congress, these are the things that I'll do. If I see a company that is trying to kill competition, I am going to make it so costly that they choke on the price. I am going to make sure that we pull out the regulators, we make them public, and we make them tell us why they approve deals that increase our price. I am going to work with other Congress members and the public and make sure that we give companies two options. They can either compete fairly or they can answer to us every single day. Excuse me. The other thing that I would let you know is that when companies have to talk in financial terms in public, they can't hide. And when they can't hide, we can tell them what they're doing. And my goal, and not only that, by the way, it gives you a foundation to fight from, and it also gets you, like, reduce the squeeze a little bit. My goal, my vision of the economy in the future is that you would have 5 garbage companies that were competing for your business. That if we didn't have healthcare for all, that the insurance companies would be afraid to lose your business. That if the technology companies started spying on you, that they would go bankrupt. That's what I'm about. I believe that there should be an economy where your work is rewarded and companies' work is not rewarded as nearly as much. My name is Mark Pinsley. I'll be here all week. I really appreciate all of your time. Once again, I'm running for Congress. Thank you.
Oh, can I just ask you one question? Yes or no answer. Are you for healthcare for all?
I am.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Ryan Croswell running for District 7 congressional seat as well. Here comes Ryan! Woo!
Thank you, Kathy, and thank you all for being here. As Mark mentioned, we all saw what happened today with this woman in Minnesota. She was unarmed. She was shot trying to get away from these agents. And do you know what the most scary part about this is? Do you know what the administration is referring to as? A domestic terrorist. This is scary. This is really scary. And I think is a reminder, this is not just a race for the seat. This is a race against time. How much longer are Americans going to go with this healthcare system before they decide it's broken and they just stop paying for insurance and our medical system collapses under the weight of its own cost? I visited a youth homeless center today. It is in danger of losing critical federal funding. How much thinner can our shelters and our food banks be stretched? We have a president that is threatening to conquer other nations, sovereign nations, for their oil. How much longer will this go on before he gets in a shooting war? He gets us in a shooting war. We have corruption and abuses of power, and I've taught anti-corruption prosecutors abroad, and I'm telling you, when you have a corrupt country, nothing works. How much longer before this is normalized in this country and we get to a point where our kids and our grandkids will never know the democracy that we have known? And how many more innocent Americans are going to die because of this asinine immigration policy? So my name is Ryan Croswell. I love this country, and I have served it virtually all my professional life. I grew up in Pottsville, I started working on my father's small business when I was 12. I was a District 11 wrestler and runner. And being a District 11 wrestler, it teaches you things that are valuable for politics, including humility. I can think of a few politicians who would have benefited from getting their butts kicked by a kid from Nazareth. I joined the Marine Corps because of the events of 9/11, straight out of Duke Law School, because I didn't want to be on the sideline while my country was involved in 2 wars. 11 years ago, I left a fancy law firm, took a massive pay cut, because I wanted to serve as a federal prosecutor, because I wanted to protect people. And last February, when the Trump administration ordered my colleagues and I to drop the criminal case against the mayor of New York, I resigned. I loved that job. Myself, 5 colleagues resigned, because sometimes love of country means walking away and resigning. And it's that same love of country and that same commitment to our ideals, which is why I joined this race. And I would be honored to have your vote, and I would be honored to have your endorsement. And so if you want leadership in a time of chaos and uncertainty, I'm a Lieutenant Colonel in the Marine Corps Reserve. If you want experience that matters for federal laws and federal problems, in my 27 combined years in law enforcement and the military, I have experience with the laws of armed conflict, national security, immigration, border security, cyber security, banking security, tax reform, campaign finance, and maybe most important with this administration, corruption. I was a specialist in corruption prosecutions. And if you want someone who's willing to fight, I would argue there are a few candidates in the country that have done more to fight against this administration since January. I testified to Congress about the abuses of power that I witnessed. I opposed the nomination of Emile Beauvais, the henchman that gave my colleagues and I that ultimatum, to the Third Circuit nomination, so much so he personally attacked me in a letter to the Senate Judiciary Committee. I've joined a law firm that is filing lawsuits against ICE for these unlawful deportations. And I've gone on, thank you, and I've gone on CNN and MSNBC, a week ago, the BBC, to explain how this corruption is a kitchen table issue, because when you have public officials who put themselves first, we will never get out of the crisis we're facing in this country, including the affordability crisis. And so if I'm nominated, if I win this election, I will fight for legislation that addresses what I call the 5 pillars of unaffordability. Healthcare. I'll fight for a public option, which is what Barack Obama won in the ACA. Housing. I will fight to end the tax incentives for predatory housing purchasers. Education. I'll fight for legislation that will force universities and post-secondary institutions to take on a portion of their students' debt, which will force them to bring down the cost and find our young adults jobs after they graduate. Energy. I will fight to reinstitute the clean energy tax credits that were eliminated by the big, beautiful bill. Thank you. And child care. I will fight to expand the child dependent tax care credit, because child care is not a women's issue. It's a family issue. And it is the heart of the unaffordability crisis that we are all facing. I'll fight for tax reform that will put the middle class above the billionaires. I'll fight for immigration reform that will keep our borders secure, but will find a path towards citizenship. And I'll fight for the codification.
Question I'm going to ask everybody tonight. You're in support of universal health care?
So I support the public option, but I want that to be a step towards universal health care.
Okay. Yeah, okay, thank you. Great. Is Lamont here? Yeah. And now we have Lamont McClure, who is also running for District 7. We have so many good candidates to choose from this time. And we all love Lamont. Come on up, Lamont.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Lamont.
I'm Lamont McClure, and I'm ready to fight like hell.
Stand in front of the camera.
All right, I'm gonna stand. I'm standing in front of the camera. Are you ready to fight like hell? Are you ready to fight like hell? Have you had enough? I've had enough. Listen, there is one candidate in this field who has actually fought Trump and MAGA in the courts and at the polls and have beaten them. And let me go back to 2020. I don't know what everybody else was doing in 2020, but here's what I was doing. There was a man who's undocumented who was in this country. He had committed a crime, and he was before the judges of the Court of Common Pleas in Northampton County in March of 2020. He was set free. An ICE agent was allowed to sneak in through the back door armed in violation of county policy and made an arrest as he was leaving the courthouse. But not just the courthouse, but the courtroom itself. He was inside the courthouse. This man thought he was free. His attorney thought he was free. The judge of the Court of Common Pleas said, "You're free to go." No, he was arrested. His attorney went bananas in the courthouse, in the hallway, and it created a volatile and dangerous situation because of the acts of ICE. That day, I decided to use the rule of law to make sure that people would be safe. My solicitors and I researched the issue. We found out what our obligations were and were not with respect to the enforcement of immigration laws. And that day, I issued an executive order prohibiting ICE from making arrests in Northampton County Courthouse. And that executive order stands to this day. I'm pleased to tell you my successor, Kara Zarinsky, is going to continue enforcing that executive order. So the next year, my fight against Trump and MAGA continues. In 2021, when I sought re-election, they decided to nominate an actual insurrectionist. Steve Lynch was the Republican candidate for county executive. He was at the Capitol on January 6th wearing a bulletproof vest. This is the kind of opponent that I had. And I crushed him. I took MAGA on, I looked MAGA in the eye, and I beat him, and I beat him bad. Remember the kind of guy Lynch was. He threatened to go to the Northampton area school district and forcibly remove with 20 strong men the duly elected Northampton area school board directors. The Northampton area school district called me and they said, "Lamont, what can you do to help protect our school board members?" And I sent the sheriff's department there that night to protect that meeting and to protect those school board members. I looked MAGA in the eye and I said, we're going to use the rule of law, we're going to use governmental power appropriately, and we're going to protect these school board members, and we did. And that meeting and the meetings after that passed without incident. See, folks, I've looked them in the eye, I've taken them on, I've beaten them. Have you heard of Heather Honey? She is an election denier. Google her, Heather Honey. She's an election denier. Trump has seen fit to put her in government, overseeing the federal aspects of election enforcement. I have beaten Heather Honey in court. Heather Honey tried to decertify our processes in Northampton County. So I took Heather Honey to court and I beat Heather Honey and Trump. Sorry? Oh, I thought I heard you. And beat Heather Honey in court. So folks, as you can see, I've got a ton of experience taking on MAGA, taking on Trump and beating them. So this year, ICE comes knocking on my door. 5 or 6 of them march into my conference room. We all sit down. Hey, we want you to rescind your executive order and allow us to come in to your jail and arrest people without a warrant. I said, no. Due process in the United States of America and under the Constitution of Pennsylvania requires you to go to a judge or a federal magistrate and get a warrant. If you want me to hand over someone to you in chains who is technically free, You better go get a warrant for it. They said, we don't understand your position. The law doesn't require us to have a warrant. I said, yes, it does here in Northampton County. Go get a warrant.
Oh, I'm right about that because they haven't challenged our policy in court yet because they know they'll lose if they do. See, folks, we can fight, we can win, and we can do it in a way that they're not doing it. We can play by the rules. We can use the power that is already invested in the government. And if you want someone to go to DC, Lamont McClure is your person to do that, to fight like hell for you. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lamont. Are you going to answer my question? Are you in support of universal health care?
I am.
Okay, he is. All right, thank you. And now we have another candidate for the District 7 congressional seat, the only woman running in the race, Carol Obando-Derstine.
Yay! Good? Right here?
What?
Yeah. Okay. Carol Obando-Derstine. Derstine, yes, and without an E, so don't time me yet, okay? I want to just make sure that we get my name correct because it gets butchered a lot. So it's Carol without an E and then Obando-Derstine. I have been called Derstine. And I have been called Carol Obama. I've been called all sorts of things. So, okay, now I'll get started. That's out of the way. So I'm running for Congress to stand up for us, for our district. And here's my why. I came here to this country at the age of 3 with parents who had lived through a violent civil war in Colombia and were willing to sacrifice everything for a shot at the American dream. I understand the struggles that working families face because I've lived them. I lived through financial hardships, language barriers, and sacrifices. But what I learned from my parents, both proud union workers, was hard work, grit, determination, and a profound love for this country. And it's really that sense of patriotism and the desire to pay it forward for all the ways in which this country has invested in me. That's what motivates me day in and day out. So once I achieved my American dream, I spent my life helping others achieve theirs. For the past 22 years, I've done that here in this district. I have run community-based organizations. The first one was one that grew our workforce, and that's where I met Sergio, by the way. And the other one was to help stand up for children. And then when I worked for Senator Casey, I was his surrogate here in the district and for Latinos statewide. I was his mouthpiece for our district, for our needs, so we could connect people to the services they needed. And over those years that I worked for the senator, there were major, significant storms that impacted Pennsylvania. And you may recall Sandy, Hurricane Sandy, and others. And it really sparked an interest in a clean energy, what a clean and sustainable energy future could look like. So I took action. I ended up going back to school for an engineering degree. And I worked for the last 10 years at an electric utility, helping seniors, low-income folks, and small businesses reduce their electric bills. But right now, we're facing a potential energy crisis. And as an energy engineer, I have experience helping to connect companies to the grid. And I know what it's going to take to ensure that data centers don't increase our electric costs or impact us negatively in other ways. We need energy experts like me in Congress to navigate this moment. But instead, what we have is Ryan McKenzie. Right. A total rubber stamp for Trump. He votes for his agenda 98% of the time. Because of Ryan, he gutted healthcare, he allowed these reckless tariffs, and it drove the cost of everyday goods to skyrocket. Plain and simple, he is not showing up for us. And we can do something about that. And so I have a plan to tackle, to tackle affordability issues, to lower costs for working families and small businesses, to expand affordable health care, to support small businesses and grow our workforce, to advance a clean energy future that helps us, that we benefit from here in District 7. And to stand up against this reckless, chaotic agenda that we're seeing from Washington. Because what we're seeing right now is un-American. And I know we've been talking about this tonight. It's un-American. We're seeing people dragged off the streets, disappeared, dragged out of cars, just for looking Latino, for being an immigrant. And as an immigrant, that is very personal to me. And it hurts because I see families and faces that look like my family members. And I couldn't stay on the sidelines and just watch this happen. I had to take action. I'm ready to flip this seat and give the people of District 7 the representation that we need and that we deserve. Thank you. I was able to earn the endorsement of the former Congresswoman who held the seat, Susan Wild. And that's the biggest and most important endorsement that in my book. It's from the person who had that seat for that while. Were you counting when I was going through my name? Okay. All right. Well, I realize I'm out of time. Oh, okay. I also have the support of national key organizations like Emily's List, Elect Democratic Women, 314, the Congressional Hispanic Caucus's Bold PAC, and many others that are very invested in key races like mine. And so I'm here to ask for your support. I have, my team has some handouts to give to folks on how you can help me out. We could use your time, talent, and treasure. We have a website, Carol4PA, and that's F-O-R, not the number 4. So carolforpa.com. I would love your support because we have a chance here. Right now, we hear a lot from politicians. Politicians promise, but engineers deliver. And I'm here to deliver for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Carol, just a quick question. Yes. Are you in support of universal health care?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. Okay, so Bob Brooks couldn't be here tonight. He's stuck in Harrisburg, but he has his representatives. Jenna, you want to come up and just give a quick overall view of Bob Brooks and what he stands for? Let's execute this right now. Is he in support of universal health care?
Do you mean Medicare for all?
Medicare for all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Hi, guys. I know I'm not Bob's. Oh, yes, I'm Jenna. I know I'm not Bob, so thank you for giving me just a second to speak. I'll try to be very quick. I know you didn't come to hear me. I'm Bob Brooks' campaign manager. Bob is the firefighter, the snowplow driver that you guys may have seen. I think a few of you have had the chance to meet him. He's the president of the Pennsylvania Professional Firefighters Union, so he is in Harrisburg doing union things tonight. He will be here next month, if that's cool. Yeah. Awesome. I think Bob is the perfect guy to be Ryan McKenzie. Ryan McKenzie, we like to say, has never had a job outside of politics. The guy went from Harvard to the State House, straight to Congress. Bob has had basically every job in the book. He's a firefighter in Bethlehem for the past 20 years. He's a snowplow driver. He's been a teamster. He's driven a beer truck. He's been a line cook. Basically, you name the job, Bob has had the job. Bob's endorsed by Governor Josh Shapiro. He's endorsed by Senator Bernie Sanders. He has the support of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, which is over 100 members of Congress, maybe 100 members of Congress. He has the support of 40 members of the state legislature from Harrisburg, Chris DeLuzio, Jamie Raskin. And I think it's an interesting list of endorsements, and you might ask why. From Senator Bernie Sanders to Governor Josh Shapiro. And I think it speaks to who Bob is and the fact that what's been going on in our party for the past little while hasn't really been working, obviously. The group that we are losing as Democrats the fastest is non-college educated men. Bob would be the only non-college educated guy in the Democratic caucus in Congress. That's crazy. Bob has, faced foreclosure and dug himself out. He has taken multiple jobs. He's almost always worked multiple jobs. When his wife got sick and needed health care, you name it. Bob's interacted with the foster system. Bob has lived the life of so many people in this district, and I think so many people that feel really left behind, not just by our party, but in general. So I hope you'll consider supporting Bob. He's a great guy, and he will be here next month to talk directly. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Jenna, very much. Would you consider running for something, actually? No, just kidding. All right, so check the back of your agenda there. There's some important dates coming up. Petitions, petitions, petitions. That's the next really big thing we all have to do. It's so easy. It only takes a minute. You just go in and sign your name a few times. Raise your hand if you know how to write your name. Wow, almost everyone raised their hand. And we'll get back to you. The people who didn't raise their hand, we'll help you learn how to sign your name. But we really need so many signatures. It's serious. It's a very serious thing. But anyway, I guess that's everything, unless anybody else had anything else. Yes? Well then, meeting adjourned. It was a great meeting. I'm so glad we met all these candidates. Onward and upward, people. See you in February.